Welcome to the Fractional Edge podcast, the ultimate podcast where we unlock the power of workforce planning and discuss the rapidly growing fractional executive staffing strategies to supercharge your business. Hey everyone, it's the Fractional Edge at Frac 2023, and today I have Cosmin with me. So Cosmin, tell us a little bit about who you are, what your story is, what your fractional focus is, and I think you actually are somebody who is supposed to be helping fractionals?
Yeah, Carol, thanks for having me here. So my name is Cosmin Gabriel, and I'm a fractional CMO. I've been on this journey now for almost a year. And I was, before that, in the corporate world, kind of working for Fortune 500 or so companies. And so really saw an opportunity to shift from corporate to a fractional lifestyle based on probably a lot of similar stories of individuals, right? Where they just felt the time and the need was there, either, tired of the corporate politics, tired of, everything that's going on. They just wanted to have, or I just wanted to have a more sense of like purpose in what I was doing.
Nice. Now, your website is fractionalofficer.com.
That's right. That's right. So I started my journey as a fractional CMO, and I continue to do that. And at the same time, I saw this need for these, like I said, Fortune 500 type of companies and professionals that are thinking of making that transition. So really helping those individuals make that transition, right? And there's just such a big need. I know when I started my journey, I just interviewed and talked to a lot of people in my network about that, and all of them were at these Fortune type of companies, and they're just like, Cosmin, kudos to you for doing this. Like, what is this? This is interesting. And so that was just the light bulb of, how do I help similar peers make that transition?
Is it just CMOs that you're working with, or
absolutely not? So it was intentional, I was very intentional in calling it fractional officer, right? Because you have chief X officer, right? Fractional, whatever that is. And so the mindset is being a fractional executive, right?
Okay.
So, and that's where really focus and emphasize on the idea of executive leadership, right? And not necessarily just a functional expert or whatever have you, right? It's how do you come to the table, and even at the sessions here at Frac, right? Where you're a colleague at the table with a CEO, right? And really helping that individual move the business forward, no matter what you are, a fractional CMO, COO, whatever that CXO is within a company that's needed.
So when they're going and working with you through your programs, is it about helping them to build their business, or is it about helping them to build their business acumen as a fractional?
A great question. It's a little bit of both. So what I like to say is there's a lot of great resources that have been established. Like, I love what, Voyager U and others are doing in this space and kind of continuing to level up. What I like to say is I'll help you with the foundation of getting started, right? Because a lot of these corporate professionals, they've never been self-employed. Where do you start? Like everything from, do I have an LLC? Do I have a corp, right? And then, I don't have an online presence under other than maybe my LinkedIn. I don't have a website. So just helping them along that journey to get that first customer, and then really dig in with the individual on what are the next steps and how do we continue to grow from here.
Is it a done with you or a done for you?
So it's a course. So it's called the Fractional Officer Method, and it's 7 modules at a very affordable price, just to get going, just to get started. And so the community continues to build. Here on LinkedIn, there's a Fractional Officer community, free join, right? We're just beginning to explore what I like to say, how do we set the standard together of a fractional executive? And that's why for me, coming here to this first ever fractional conference at Frac, from all the way from Texas to Minneapolis, I really wanted to just learn from others and what are the challenges, what are we seeing, to then say, okay, how do we start crafting something that's a lot more standardized in being a fractional executive for companies.
And when you think about this methodology that you're putting together, the 7 modules, what happens after that? Is it a opportunity to, as we've done here at Frac 2023, build our network?
Yeah. Great question. Absolutely. And so as you get to that last module is actually scaling your business for
Mhm.
long-term success, those are the type of resources and recommendations that I start saying, okay, now that you've built the foundation, here's the catapult for the next step, right?
Okay.
And we're in the beginning now, but as the community grows, as any kind of community, you want to say, okay, what is the needs of the community, and we'll see what will be chapter two.
Nice. Now, what, if anything, do you do to help once they're done there? Is there an opportunity to connect with potential business owners that can really utilize their magic?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I've been seeing is working in this space naturally in our networks, be it LinkedIn and other places. There are companies and business owners that are reaching out to me, reaching out to others, and are asking like, "Hey, I need this," right? And so that's the type of thing where we're working right now to develop how to get that referral to other companies and organizations based on the function that you're in.
Now, are the people who are going through your courses and joining fractionalofficer.com, is it for, do you have a tendency to find people from the same specific industry, or is it from all different walks, or at least you have clusters?
Yeah, right now, what I'm seeing a lot of fractional CMOs, and
Okay.
probably because of my network, right? A lot of
Yes.
marketers. However, I have been seeing a lot of operations, a lot of strategy, even financial. So fractional CFOs, and even from an HR perspective. And so, just seeing the different executive roles coming in, and what really impresses me is also as people are joining the fractional officer community on LinkedIn, there's a lot of functional areas where I didn't even realize that there was a fractional leadership position available. I
Yeah.
was actually just talking with somebody here where they're like, "Yeah, I'm a fractional person that helps big construction companies see the project through." And I'm like, "Oh, is that like an operations officer?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, kind of." And so I think a lot of people are still trying to define
Mm.
those executive roles, but I believe that we need to make sure though that they're we look at it through the lens of being an executive for the business, for the company.
Okay, excellent. So when we think about the fractional executives going forward, one of the things that the Fractional Edge talks about is this is a real viable option, if not really probably one of the future better options of having fractional executives as part of workforce planning. So when you think about our listenership of CEOs and PE firms and VCs and founders, when you think about what that looks like short term and long term, how do you think fractionals are going to fit in?
Yeah, I believe that fractionals from a planning perspective, one, is there a gap in your current resource, right? Maybe you're needing a CMO because of whatever transition. So that's an opportunity to quickly get somebody in that's vetted, that knows experience. You don't have to go through the onboarding pain points and HR and everything else, right? You get that person in, and then there's also an opportunity to you know see where companies can place these executives in when there's a time of transformational change, right?
Mhm.
Where perhaps there's a new area, right? Like as an executive leadership, or your board is like, you know what, we need to go in this direction. Uh, Tap into those fractional executives that have decades of
Yeah.
experience to start that up. Uh, while you're looking, because the average hiring process for an executive is
Pretty
6 months,
long.
12 months
Yeah.
plus, right? And what's great is you can quickly bring on board somebody that can help initiate and start the foundation. And who knows, you may keep them longer.
Yeah.
And but again, that's I think where we need to continue to help define from a fractional executive of like what's that relationship like. Is it 3 months, 6 months, a year? And it really depends a lot, I believe, on the need of the business and the need of the company.
Do you find that the solution of fractional executives is for a certain period within a life cycle of an organization?
It's a good question. Yes and no. And I'll say yes because currently what I've been seeing and just working with other fractionals, there's a mindset of, we'll come in, for 3 months, for 6 months, but others I've seen in longer positions, longer periods. And that's what, I was really impressed even at a session that we had here where there was a conversation of an annual contract with that person or with that company. And so, I think again, it comes down to the business need, right? Of how long that transformational decision is needed, or the individual and how long they stay on and how they structure the relationship.
Nice. So tell me a little bit about what you've liked here at Frac 2023.
Oh gosh. First of all, I love the fact that it's the first. I love the fact that it was first. It was a little bit of deja vu in some other industry that I was a part of probably about 15 years ago where it kind of exploded. But this is, to me, that's exciting. Where, I think, John Abrams said about, we're the seeds, right, of this budding industry right now. And I know there's, we're 100, 200 here of, tens of thousands, right, that identify as fractional executives. But that's what I love. It's being first and just having everyone being curious here, being very open, very transparent in how things are going and learning from each other. Most of us, the nature of our business is to work remote. And so being together with so many like-minded individuals like this has just been so refreshing.
That's amazing. So what is one thing you want to leave our listeners with? And then, of course, I'm going to tell you to tell the world how to find you.
Yeah. I think, the role of a fractional executive is really exciting because it's an opportunity to bring on board somebody that is seasoned, experienced, and wants to be a partner and a colleague with you at the table. And, many times, even in relationships that I've been in as a fractional CMO, I'm more than a CMO for the CEO. I'm actually a mentor, a coach, right? Because sitting at the table for marketing, I've worked with ops, I've worked with IT, I've worked with legal, I've worked with HR. And so I bring that wealth of information and knowledge to those CEOs and those companies at a fraction of the cost of bringing on board a full-time executive. And so that's really what gets me excited about this industry. And you bring, as fractional executives, we can bring experiences from so many diverse backgrounds and even industries, if necessary. So yeah, that's one of the things. Just fractional executives are a wealth of knowledge.
Yes.
And experience at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah, and the time that they can get to impact and action is exponentially faster. Yeah,
because we're invested in it, right? Even if in the fractional officer method, like I talk about the first 90 days, which even if you get hired full time, right, you talk about your 30, 60, 90-day plan, right? And so, but as a fractional, you want to make sure that within the first 2 to 4 weeks, you're really showing an impact.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that's rare if you bring on board a full-time executive, just because we're so vested in ensuring the success of the company and our business.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so where do people find you?
So very easy. I'm on Cosmin Gabriel everywhere on social media, LinkedIn specifically. You can find me, and then fractionalofficer.com.
Fantastic.
So where, we're really looking to help corporate professionals shift into the success of a fractional executive.
Well, thank you so much for being on the Fractional Edge. And it's
Appreciate
been
it.
Awesome meeting you here.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to the Fractional Edge. We hope you enjoyed our insightful discussions and feel inspired to unleash your competitive edge.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest episodes. You can also connect with our podcast guests to benefit from their expertise and explore collaboration opportunities by visiting our website, thefractionaledge.com. Join us next time as we continue to explore the power of workforce planning and fractional executives in today's competitive business landscape. Until then, take care and keep growing.